Hey, yo, it's your girl, Corey.
It's your boy Chemist, and we are the cast of 444.
And this is going to be part two to our abundance video. Um, a technique I wanted to talk about is it is crazy because I was talking to my brother about this. And then I get on my TikTok and I see it on my For You page. They like this millionaire was saying literally the exact same thing I learned from going within. So basically, what we haven't been taught is that if you have a poverty mindset, meaning everything you know is poverty or middle class, it's damn near impossible to go from that to being a multimillionaire. Now, there are plenty cases of it, but what they were saying and what I was telling my brother is you got to get into, because everything is about frequency and vibration. So even when you do these quantum leaps or when you do spell work, like if you do spell work, you know the point, you have to believe it. And that may seem simple, but it it's not. You have to physically believe it, because if you don't, it'll mess up the vibration of the spell work. When you're doing spell work, you're using energy. The same when you're quantum leaping into that lifestyle or life that you want, if your vibration is not aligning with that. So say for instance, this is that timeline and this is you. It's not going to align. So therefore, when you go to that, it's going to bounce back, right? You have to get your vibration to match that vibration of that timeline. So a practice that you can do is practice spending. Practice spending $2 million, just so you can get your body into the vibration of how it feels to have $1 million. Tell yourself you have 24 hours to spend $2 million. You can't have one penny left. So take it and you spend your $2 million. And don't buy any accessory or clothes, because the next day you're going to take $50,000 and you're going to spend that on accessory and clothes. Then the next day you take 1 million this day and you spend it on investments, like things where you're going to earn your money back. Because if you look at like the people that won the lottery and they lost everything, is because they were not aligned with that money, and when they had it, they did not know what to do.
Yeah.
So because they weren't aligned, they became back broke, because that's the mindset that they were on. So that's why we're taking this practice and we're getting our body prepared for when we do become this multimillionaire. So then on the third day, you take your $1 million, and this is strictly to get money back in your pocket. So if you want to invest in real estate, if you want to invest in the stock market, you're going to take this as if it's really happening. So you're going to learn about the stock market. You're going to learn about NFTs. I think is popular right now. um, Bitcoin. You're going to learn. So you'll know whenever you do get your money where you want to invest or what properties to invest. Learn everything that you need to learn about it as if it's really happening. Because when your mind can't tell the difference between it happening right now or in your mind. That's why when you have these bad memories of something that happened to you, it feels like it's happening at that moment, because your mind can't tell the difference. So you get into the habit of spending this money, and you're able to align with that vibration, which means you're able to start that business, which means you're able to bring in millions, because you already have your mindset aligned. But I wanted to touch on that. You can go ahead, brother.
Now I love it. So what my sister is saying is taking a mindset from a lead based state and transforming it to a gold state. So it's this is mental alchemy, man, like literally. And so I want to talk about the restrictions that we usually, what I'm saying, encounter up on this way. Usually, what I'm saying, the restrictions, if you're looking for them, you may be able to find them in your birth chart. Look where your Saturn is. Wherever you feel limited at, wherever you feel restricted at, you know, it's usually things that you struggle at or whatnot. So what I have learned to do, me myself personally, I've learned to change my mindset, my whole mentality when it comes to problems and anything. So I'm trying to operate like my higher self, but I'm still dealing right here in the present. So there's still an obstacle, there's a barrier, especially when I'm trying to practice those habits. I may have some other opposite type of energy trying to come my way. So how do I deal with that? How do I deal with my restrictions? I welcome it all. I don't have a mindset or a mentality or a perception when an obstacle comes that it's a negative thing. I embrace the obstacle because I realize that if I embrace it, if I embrace the obstacle, if I embrace the hindrance or anything of the sort, then this is allowing me to operate in the fullness of my capacity. So what's the fullness of my capacity? What's my highest potential? My highest potential is alchemy, transforming things from one state to another. So regardless of what's coming my way, when I'm trying to transform or when I'm trying to go from one stage to another and become my higher self, I have to have a perception of welcoming all obstacles because I know the obstacles allow me to grow because it allows me to change my perception when it comes my way. So if I have, for instance, a negative situation that I'm just dealing with on a daily basis, I wake up in the morning and my mindset opposed to this negative situation is like, dang, I got to deal with this again. Well, I'm already defeated. That's already a restriction that I, you know what I'm saying, created in my own mind. I've let the situation dictate my mindset. And so now what I have to do when I wake up in the morning, regardless of whether the situation is negative or not, I have to wake up and be like, man, I got an opportunity to overcome this restriction. I have an opportunity to be able to overcome this mountain or this obstacle. And now what happens is it's no longer a restriction. It's an opportunity. And so you transform it from a lead base to a gold base. You take a poverty mindset and a poverty mentality that's always pointing out the problems, always blaming everybody, always harping on what you don't have, and you're taking the responsibility and the accountability and you're bringing it back to yourself and you start operating like that creator you are. You start operating in an innovation. You start operating in your power. You no longer omitting it. You got to excuse me, sister.
That's
you know, I go
your algorithm. And if you do that, you'll like, even with us, like you notice like little things that were happening and occurring when you become aware that when you focus on anything, you give that energy. So if you continue to focus on something negative, then you're constantly giving it energy when you put your mind into a positive state. And that's not to say that negative things aren't going to happen, because, you know, they may happen. But even like in the book with Napoleon Hill, whenever he was saying like being obsessed with whatever you want to be in life, you realize that when something happens, usually if something don't occur right then and there, that was the universe like protecting you from that happening. And I was just talking to my homegirl the other day, and I was like, you know, like a lot of times us as women, especially like in our 30s, we want to rush and get into a relationship, and then we realize that the dude that we wanted to be in a relationship with, we didn't really even know. When we got to know him, we didn't even like him.
Yeah.
And it's like it's wild, because you see, like, it was really the universe having my back, because oh dude, I don't even like this man as a person once I got to know him. Like, I didn't know the true him. I knew how he treated me, and I knew how he was around me. But once we start going in public and I see how he acts with other people, I don't even like this. Like, we don't match, because I'm at a different level where I respect and I know how to interact with people. And you still on, I'm ready to fight and go at any time. We ain't matching. So sometimes the universe, creator, God, whatever you want to use it as, knows better than you. So these restrictions that you're happening, take time, get still, and realize there's a lesson in it. Sometimes you need to go this way, or maybe it's telling you to look back at something. So the restrictions aren't necessarily wrong. Now, if it's, that's not to say if you're like down and out, that to be okay with that, but keep your mind in a positive state so you can get out of that. Because when you bring forth negative energy and negative thinking, you're making your situation 10 times worse.
Definitely. Look,
Think
you gotta
to get
go.
out and think to keep.
You gotta go from a lower form of thinking to a higher form of thinking. So you got to stop thinking on those lower levels. And this is why we get so caught up, because we keep thinking like yesterday. And if we think like yesterday, we're going to be forever stuck in yesterday. There's no progression. There's no involvement. And so how we transform our thinking, how we transform and just change our perception, you have to welcome any and all things, because that's you taking the power back in your hands. That's you giving your power away when you blaming it on everything around you. You know what I'm saying? So you either can omit your power or you can operate in your power. And this is why this platform is here. We're not talking to people who are ready to omit their power. We know our audience out there. We know that y'all are ready to operate in the true essence of your divinity. And so that's why we have these platforms. Whatever restrictions are there, whatever limits are there, you take those, you acknowledge those, and then you overcome it. But change your perception. Stop looking at it as a negative way. Growing pains are a part of this. It's all a part of the cycle. It's all a part of the process. It's development involving many change. You go from one stage to another, but you got to lay one brick at a time in order to have the kingdom. And so we're going to get there, but we got to put it into practice. So you guys do this.
Okay, well, that's going to be all for part 2. Tune in to the next episode. Thank y'all for supporting us. Continue to tell your wife, your brother, your sister, your cousin, your auntie, the people at the grocery store. Continue to like and share and subscribe. Thank y'all for listening. And we are the cast of 444. We out.